In the frozen distance where the Sun is little more than a brilliant star in the dark, there drifts a world washed in pale icy blue, Neptune. It's a realm of profound cold where temperatures fall below -200 degrees Celsius, a world of immense pressures cloaked in supersonic winds of methane and hydrogen. It's a restless heart adrift at the frontier, 30 times farther from the Sun than Earth. But out here, Neptune shouldn't exist. Its very presence a paradox, because a world this massive could never have taken shape in such a barren frontier. And it's a story that begins long before it reached the edge of the solar system, in the first light of the Sun. As the newborn Sun bathed the solar nebula in its first light, a vast swirling veil of gas and dust stretched from its central glow out to where Neptune now circles. But at that distance the veil thinned to almost nothing. Dust and ice drifted like lonely sparks in the dark, spread across orbits so wide they barely collided. And with the Sun's growing fire gnawing at the nebula, it thinned with every passing year. In only a few million years it was swept away. In such emptiness with no density of material, a few million years was never enough to build a planet 17 times the mass of Earth. And yet Neptune exists, a planet by every measure out of place. Neptune is heavy, far heavier than a world at the edge of the solar system should be. Peel back Neptune's hazy blue clouds, and beneath the light gases lies not endless hydrogen like Jupiter, but the weight of water, ammonia and methane packed into a vast mantle. At the centre is a rocky heart of silicate and metal, under immense pressure, where the ices twist into exotic states of matter, neither fully solid nor fully liquid, but something strange in between. Only a thin veil of hydrogen and helium clings above, a fragile skin compared to the swollen envelopes of Jupiter and Saturn. This is why Neptune is denser than its size should allow, a world built not of light gases, but of heavy elements, packed deep within. Its body carries more weight than the outer nebula could ever have given, proof that it was born somewhere richer. To grow a core 15 times the mass of Earth, Neptune needed a nursery rich in ice and rock, where collisions were frequent and matter abundant, not the sparse reaches where it now drifts. Scientists believe that nursery lay closer to the Sun, perhaps between 10 and 20 astronomical units. In this crowded middle ground, Neptune could have gathered its heavy elements before the nebula was swept away. This planetary body, dense and rich in heavy matter, is a fossil record written in ice and rock, proving that its birth was not at the empty frontier, but in a crowded nursery closer to the solar heart. But if Neptune was born closer in, what flung it to the edge of the solar system? As it is today, in the early days of the solar system, Jupiter was a dominant gravitational force, and along with Saturn their orbits began to fall into step, creating a resonance with each swing around the Sun echoing the other like the strike of a drum. With every beat their gravity stirred the disk, orbits stretched, paths distorted, and the fragile calm of the early solar system began to unravel. Worlds that had once circled in fragile balance were thrown into chaos. Jupiter, the heaviest player, hurled icy debris, scattering fragments inwards and outwards. Its own path shifted slightly, with the effect rippling through the entire system. Saturn was tugged outwards, with the lighter gas giants Uranus and Neptune being dealt a devastating blow. They were flung into exile. Neptune's orbit ballooned outward, carving through the great disk of icy planetesimals like a plough. Countless bodies were thrown into the deep, creating the frozen frontier we now call the Kuiper Belt, a scar that still bears the witness to the violence of that age. Others were driven inwards, colliding with the young rocky worlds in a storm of impacts we now call the Late Heavy Bombardment. This chaotic reshaping of the solar system is known as the Nice model. It tells of a time when order gave way to upheaval, when whole worlds may have been lost and the planets we know were flung into new orbits, their fates written by gravity's unrest. and with it Neptune, the serene blue wanderer out of place at the edge of the solar system, found its home. A survivor of catastrophe, a refugee cast from its birthplace. The calm order we see today and Neptune's paradoxical position within it is only the afterglow of that ancient violence.